Russell. You did it. You did the thing that I said that I was worried you were going to do, and you did it. I mean, there were good stuff in there too, but you did the thing. And, yeah, you did the thing. Bad Russell. Hello, welcome to Culture Filter. I am the Fill-In Filter, and we're talking about the Empire of Death, the Season 1/Series 14 finale of Doctor Who. And I have thoughts. I have many thoughts. Good and bad. There are both in there. It was a bit of a mixed bag, let's just say. But if you saw my trailer breakdown for the finale, the teaser trailer that they released at the end of the last time, the next time trailer, whatever you want to call it, I did a separate video breaking down that, and I identified one worry that I had that I thought was going to happen. And while the specifics of it weren't the same as what I maybe predicted, I predicted that the scenes on the kind of dead planet were going to be a dead Earth, and that meant that the whole of the Earth was going to die, and we were going to get a big reset button at the end. Because Russell likes his big reset buttons. He also likes his kind of Deus Ex Machinas, kind of endings to episodes where you do a quick thing and then everything's resolved with a quick thing that wasn't kind of like maybe was set up a little bit, but just didn't really feel like a big satisfying payoff. And he does both of these things here in a slightly different way. And right from the very beginning, before the title sequence, I knew that it confirmed to me that was what was happening. The second that Kate Stewart got turned to dust, I was like, well, that's not going to stick, is it? They're definitely doing the whole reset at the end, and they did. And then, of course, Carla, Ruby's mum, died, and a gran, and a Mrs. Flood, who has an intriguing line there about having so many plans. So the mystery of Mrs. Flood is one that is carrying over to next season, and we get a bit with her at the end as well, which is adding to the mystery as well. So the mystery of her is still there. We have not solved that. But we did solve some mysteries in this season finale. But yeah, from the second that everybody died, the whole planet died, we obviously knew that wasn't going to stick and that would be reversed. But just imagine for a minute, obviously you couldn't do the whole Earth dying and it not be reversed. But if they had kept it to Kate and a small area of London getting destroyed, yes, it would have lowered the stakes a bit. But imagine how much impact that would have had on us as the audience. Imagine if it actually killed Kate Stewart off and kept her dead. I'd be sad to see her go. I think she's really coming into her own recently, and I love the character, and I've loved her over the last, whatever it is, 12 odd years that she's been on screen as this character. But, you know, that's a good stint. If they wanted to get rid of her, they could do, and they could do it for a real emotional hit and a real impact. So imagine if that had stuck and a portion of London had been destroyed and that stuck too. Obviously you don't want to kill off too many characters in one go, so you've got obviously Carla's mum you'd probably want to survive and a few others, but just like that would have been interesting. But I get that it wouldn't have had the big stakes of like the universe ending stakes, but not every season finale needs to have universe ending stakes. Although I suppose if you've got a God of Death, they kind of need to be pretty big. Talking of the God of Death, first of all, Gabriel Woolf, once again returning to voice Sutekh. He got a little bit at the end of the last episode, but he does so much in this episode, so much excellent voice work. If you don't know, he is the same person that voiced Sutekh back in the 1970s in the Pyramids of Mars episode, and his voice is so iconic in that role, and he has not dropped the ball even once in this. He is absolutely still amazing, and at 91 years old, that Gabriel Woolf is, he is absolutely firing on all cylinders for this, because it is a fantastic performance. We get to find out how he survived and how because there was a bit of a question about, he never really was a full-on god. He was kind of from a race of godlike beings with godlike powers, but that he wasn't a full-on god. There's a little bit of an explanation for that in this, that he, his time clinging to the TARDIS in the vortex has grown him in power, and therefore that's partly how he's become so powerful and is more actually like a god now, and how other gods and godlike creatures are scared of him, like the Toymaker. Also, as predicted, the Memory Tardis, as I predicted in various videos, the time window TARDIS that the Doctor referred to as being like a memory of the TARDIS was the Memory Tardis, so we get to go into that. And I'm guessing the scene that we got bookended at the end of the Pyramids of Mars Tales of the TARDIS that was released recently, with the Doctor and Ruby sitting around a campfire, 13th Doctor TARDIS thing, that takes place within that time period where they're in there some point after the Earth has been destroyed. There's a big time jump after the Earth is destroyed, where we see the Doctor has been, travelling, and Dr. Ruby and Mel have been travelling and finding information. He's found some metal on another planet. We don't know how long he's been travelling, but it's indicated that it's quite a while, so that kind of squeezes in there quite nicely. And it's good to have an actual explanation for the Memory TARDIS of what it is and where it's come from, whereas with the Tales of the TARDIS, it was all very, very vague what this place was. Was it just in the TARDIS's memory banks? It's a bit more than that, it appears, but it's nice that the other Doctors and companions get to share in that in Tales of the TARDIS. Rowan's coming to join me. This is my 4-year-old who also watched the episode with me. I was just saying that I thought there was some convoluted stuff around the Susans. I liked the idea of the fact that everywhere the Doctor has been, effectively since Pyramids of Mars, the Sutekh on the TARDIS has created life and created a Susan Twist type character in that place, and that at this point in the story he sort of activates them all and brings his gift of death and the dust of death to every place that the Doctor has ever been. I thought that concept was really effective, but a little convoluted in the sense that this is happening every time that the Doctor has been as well. So the Earth died in 1999. The Earth died multiple times in the 1980s and the 1990s and the 2000s, and it's died every single time the TARDIS landed. So are these splintered timelines that have happened where they've died? I mean, how it was a little bit convoluted. Anyway, well, I'll come back to the Susan stuff in a minute, but what did you think, Rowan? Good.
The bit where I like is when the Sutekh got carried away with the TARDIS.
At the end?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to talk about that in a bit. That's a good bit, isn't it? Yeah, interesting bit. What was your least favourite bit?
I didn't like the bit when Sutekh got in someone's mind.
In Mel's mind?
Yeah.
Yeah, and took her over.
Yeah. I didn't like that bit.
Oh dear. Was that because you like Mel?
Yeah.
But going back to the whole that Susan being everywhere the Doctor has been and that happening everywhere, while the timeline aspects of it are a little convoluted and I'm not sure about those, I do like the fact that it's an effect on the Doctor that, like, everywhere he's landed, he has brought death with him unknowingly. These are the places where he's been and he's saved people, but he's also ended up condemning them. And the effect that has on the Doctor is quite a powerful one. I did like that. I just thought it was a bit of a convoluted... There were some convoluted elements to it. There was lots of speculation about who the kind woman was, played by... I've forgotten her name. Sian something? I forgot her name. I forgot the actor's name. But there was speculation she might be Ruby's mum. She wasn't. She was just a nice lady on a planet. She was literally just a kind woman. So there we go. Nothing big there, but she gives him the metal spoon, which is vital to defeating Sutekh in the end, or vital to getting the screen working at least. I liked how they brought back in the 73 yard stuff, both with it being 73 yards being the depth of the perception filter of the TARDIS, so that helped them work some stuff out, and also the fact that Ruby's vague memories of Roger William kind of filtered in onto the screen as well, even though she didn't know why, and she didn't remember him. Obviously they were there deep within, and that meant that, the TARDIS the Doctor could see them and identify and get the idea about the DNA testing, because one thing that Roger did as Prime Minister was initiate a full DNA of the scan of the entire population, which is a very authoritarian thing to do for a very authoritarian Prime Minister. There were a few really powerful emotional moments in this. I did like, going back to the kind woman, I did really like the moment where she really she suddenly realizes that the cradle that she's got lying on the floor, that her daughter has already died, and she just forgot she died. That was a really powerful moment, and I mean it's possibly likely to affect me more than some other people, possibly. I mean, as someone who's got children, but also I have I've lost a child as well, so that's wasn't expecting to mention that, sorry. But there we go. Yes, so that does, that hits. And that was that was a really powerful moment for me watching it.
With chocolate buttons.
You ate chocolate buttons?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Let me talk about
Okay, you talk.
I can't think of anything.
So let's come to that ending and how they defeat Sutek. They trick him effectively because he's keeping them alive because he wants to find out who Susan's mum is, because he didn't sense her.
Now I have something to say to you. The doctor shut the TARDIS. Why Sutek was carrying why Sutek was going with the TARDIS. The TARDIS got shut.
Yes, at the end.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. So the end, that ending, it was a little bit kind of. So Sutek was keeping them alive to find out who Susan's mum was, because it was a mystery to him and that bugged him. So he was trying to help, put them in a position. That's where he takes over Mel so that she becomes one of his servants. But the Doctor is obviously onto it, so they come up with a plan behind the scenes. But the plan is effectively leash up. And I like the dog reference. Putting him on a leash, fine. Okay, I like that. And they drag him into the time vortex. All fine so far. But it's the kind of dragging him backwards through the time vortex to all the places he's been before, just undoes everything, brings everybody back to life. Poof. And it's just so easy, and I don't know, it's very much like those, push a button, everything's undone. Much like he did in the kind of Sound of Drums end of season 3 storyline, where they do something and all the devastation of the last year is just reversed and only a few people remember it. I mean, I'll give them this. At least everyone remembers what happened and remembers the dust storm here by the looks of it. Nobody has forgotten it, but obviously they were dead for a long time, unknown amount of time, and they just brought back as they were, including even the death from the previous episode. So, and including the Vlinks, who got his head chopped off and wasn't dusted. So does that, I don't know how that ties in. I don't know. Maybe they just fixed him. But it just seems it's too easy. It's like, let's just drag him backwards and it undoes everything. And the whole, what happens if you bring death to death, it brings life. That's just what? Doesn't make any sense. So I wasn't massively keen on that particular ending. Though I did like the iconography, the kind of the imagery of the dog on the leash being dragged through the time vortex. Dragging him through the time vortex, sure. Dragging him through the time vortex to kill him, sure. I'm up for that. But the whole reversing the death of the Earth, obviously they had to do it, but I'd rather they just hadn't done it in the first place. I don't know. It's one of, I think, Russell's biggest weaknesses is the Deus Ex Machina endings and reversing everything that happened as if nobody remembers it, or it didn't happen. He does that a lot, and he rushes endings quite a lot, and this felt like all three of those things. He does it in his outside of Doctor Who work as well. Years and years it was an amazing programme. Rushed ending at the end. So I'm just a little bit disappointed with that. However, the ending of the episode I did like was the Ruby Song story. Russell has been telling us all along that she's just an ordinary person. And yes, he was right. She is just an ordinary person. And I am absolutely fine with that. We don't need another special and most important person in the universe story. I liked the really emotional ending we got with her and her birth mum. The fact that that, you know, that they had her and the doctor go and find her, and then they're outside the cafe, and the doctor's going, you know, she had 7,000 days to come find you, and she didn't. And Ruby goes, well, I found her. And he's like, yeah, but you had a time machine. It's a bit unfair. She made her choices. And then Ruby just walks in anyway. And then that scene in the cafe, that was another really touching scene where I thought worked so well and was so powerful. I was literally crying. I was in floods of tears watching it because it was so powerful. It was really good, and I love it. Again, the slightly convoluted was the whole, maybe the reason why her mum was so special, and was the fact that she was just because they thought she was. That kind of the power of thought type, the power of feelings type ending, I'm never really massively on board with. I don't think it's as egregious as the ending to the Sutek and how they defeated Sutek and reversed everything, but it's a little bit, oh, that's just a quick, simple, well, let's just throw in a line about love and about how powerful thoughts are and stuff like that. And Russell really likes that theming, and I'm not that on board with it. It can work sometimes, but and it can really not work other times. And I think this one kind of fits in the middle, where it's kind of like, fine, it's fine, I suppose, but I'd rather that not the reason. But then again, I quite like the fact that she's just an ordinary person. And then we get them parting ways, probably just for Christmas, because we know Ruby is in season 2, at least in part of season 2. So, I mean, it doesn't feel like they've had to have this big parting. We've only had them together for 8 episodes. And although in universe, we know that they've been together for at least over 6 months, to us watching it, it doesn't feel like they've had that long. They've always had this great chemistry, which is there in this episode, but I don't think we've had enough time with them for them to be parting like this just yet. Obviously, Shooty's going to go, 15th Doctor's going to go off and have a Christmas adventure with someone else, and then probably come back and see Ruby in season 2. Whether or not we'll get the new companion before we meet Ruby, or we'll have a few episodes with a new companion first, I don't know yet, but we'll see. And of course, we get the final hints that he might see Susan again, because there's a little bit of conversation there. I think it would be really good to see her, maybe in the Christmas special, maybe next year, who knows. And the final Mrs. Flood hint, where she breaks the fourth wall again and tells us that Ruby's story ends nicely, but the Doctor's one is going to end in, what was it? I can't remember the exact wording, but something like suffering and pain, or something, torment, or something like that. So who is Mrs. Flood? Give me your theories down below. I've made a video about Mrs. Flood before, but I will probably make another one, because her mystery didn't get wrapped up. That's clearly part of season 2. I'm looking forward to seeing what that might be. Let me know what your thoughts are on this episode down below, and what you thought, or what you think Mrs. Flood's deal still is. And yeah, what did you think of the endings? Do you like Ruby's ending? Do you like Sutek's ending? How do you feel it all wrapped up? Let me know all that in the comments down below, and I will see you for more Doctor Who videos soon. Certainly we'll be reviewing the Christmas special when it comes out, but there will be lots more in between, so don't forget to hit subscribe and all that jazz. And if you want to watch another one of my Doctor Who videos, there'll be one appearing on the screen any second now, so do click that. And we'll say goodbye. Goodbye.
Bye.